I am here with Philippe Germanaud from Sanofi. He is the Chief Quality Officer and has been a PDA member for quite a long time. He has 41 years experience in our industry and 30 years of it with Sanofi. And I want to welcome you here today to speak with me and the PDA membership, Philippe. Would you like to just say a quick hello and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello Walt, and hi all folks from the PDA. I'm very happy to be with you today and to share some thoughts and experience about our beautiful industry.
And I think this is going to be very informative for our readers of the PDA letter. The first question I would like to ask you, and it's something that's of interest to people, is could you share with us how you came into the pharmaceutical industry?
Yeah, Walt, it's a little bit fancy story. In fact, I was 17 years old, and I was looking to make some money summertime. By the way, to go to the US in August to learn a little bit more English and to practice. And I had the opportunity to get a summer holiday work in a factory nearby where my parents lived and where I was raised, in the middle of France. And in fact, I had no clue about what industry was. And when I entered this facility and I worked over there as an operator, as a packaging line operator, and I was really fascinated by what I saw. I was fascinated by the atmosphere, by the ways of working, by the teamwork, and really excited about what people working together could produce for the good of patients around the world. And it was really the first time I had the opportunity to enter in a plant, in a manufacturing facility. It was a Ron Poulenc facility, a former legacy company of Sanofi. And this is where I got started with this industry. And this is actually why further I studied pharmacy and went to the uni to get my PhD. It's because of this experience and because of really wanting to really to work in this health industry.
So that's a very, I think today is a very unique story. I think, in fact, I think even for about 40 years ago, that's kind of a unique story to just walk in as a very young person, sounding like with merely a high school education. And now you've worked your way up to a very high position and very important role within your company. And it really reminds me of an earlier time in industries across industry types where people just could come out with high school education and start a long career. And I think it's amazing. And I think that's really fascinating. So after you started working in this packaging facility, that's when you decided to then go and get a degree or training in this field. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is correct. I was 17 years old in 1981. And then I got my A level and I decided to study pharmacy. I finally got my PhD and I always got connection with Ron Poulenc for some summer holidays. Practical studies. I had my first employment over there, always in production as a production operator. And finally, after getting my PhD, I got started working in a small company, a CMO, working for this company, for Ron Poulenc, working, by the way, manufacturing antibiotics, solid forms. And I was a production head of this very small company for 3 years. And then I decided to take another position at another company called Santé Labo, which was, by the way, another legacy company of Sanofi. And I totally changed, I would say, my career path because I entered in this company into the QC lab. I didn't know a lot about QC, but I learned on the bench as I had learned before, in the workshops, production and manufacturing activities. I learned on the bench about QC activities, QC stuff, technical controls, and I learned a lot I had this position in the QC lab. I became further QC head, and I got this position for 7 years in my native city, by the way, middle of France, in Tours, on the Loire Valley. And it was really exciting. And I had the opportunity to participate, to develop into quality, and also to participate and to be a member of a team which actually got the first FDA approval for this facility in Tours.
That is
After a couple of years, I decided to change, and I stayed, by the way, within Sanofi. I was transferred to Spain, back to production, so production head, 2 years. After those 2 years in Madrid, Spain, I was transferred in Hungary, back to quality at that time. You know, it's back and forth between production and quality. I worked in Hungary for 4 years, so I was project manager in quality. Then I became site head of one and then two manufacturing facilities, solid forms and injectable forms. After that, we have worked also a lot on quality systems and on getting FDA approvals. And after this period of time in Hungary, I came back home. I came back in France, site head as well of a big manufacturing facility southwest of France, close to Bordeaux. And I was site head of this facility, manufacturing solid forms and injectable drug products. 5 years, right? And after this period of time, finally, I joined the corporate activities of quality in charge of quality, manufacturing quality. At that time, in my role, I was overseeing at the maximum we had 116 manufacturing sites worldwide. So I had the opportunity to travel a lot around the world in order to I would say, monitor our activities and promote our quality management system. And after 7 years in this position, I was finally appointed as head of global quality, chief quality officer for the entire Sanofi company. So it's really a story, you know, from the shop floor throughout all universe of manufacturing activities and further commercial pharmacovigilance R&D activities worldwide, which has given me the way to see a lot of different activities, a lot of different cultures, and a lot of different countries around the world, but always for the sake of product quality and patient safety.
You know, the interesting thing is because of you started in manufacturing, you moved into quality, then you said you were going back and forth for years between the two, and that provides you a unique perspective as the person who now is in charge of the quality for the organization. And as a member of PDA or an employee of PDA, I get a chance to speak to a lot of people in their quality organizations, and I think your experience is a little unique nowadays. I think you find more people are just going into quality or going into manufacturing. You might not see a lot of that overlap. What do you think that's still true, or do you think there still is a lot of overlap between production and then moving into the quality?
No, I think you are right. We see much less transversal moves from here to there today than what has happened in the past, and I think it's a pity. I really encourage people to have really very diverse experiences because seeing the systems and the products with the eyes of quality and with the eyes of being in charge of production is pretty much different. And I think it makes you much richer if you have both views, and it really helps and facilitates your understanding of the business, of the product, of the processes. So I really encourage you all to try to have such a diverse activity across the board, and to benefit from whatever experience you can get, and in many different fields. It can be APIs, it can be drug products. It really makes you better, richer, and stronger. So please try
Yeah.
to really have very diverse experiences.
Yeah, even if they can't get the experience as a 17-year-old, we can only imagine the kind of work you were doing at 17. That must have, you were really at the ground level there. But even if you start at a high, maybe a higher manufacturing experience than we don't want to talk about what you were doing as a 17-year-old, maybe sweeping floors or I'm just imagining, but you know, yeah, you want to get the, I think you're right. The cross pollination between the organizations probably is unique. You brought a unique perspective to it, I think.